The election results from November 4th are worrying a lot of people. They're frankly scared. They're wondering, how did we get here? Well, this is how. Behind me is the racism scale. Where do you fall? I first discovered this graphic in my own school district in 2021. Through FOIA requests, we learned that they had hired an equity firm, and this was part of the presentation. My district paid $42,000 for a, quote, race and privilege Zoom. It was a lecture loaded with every CRT talking point you can think of. The homework? To read White Fragility, author Robin DiAngelo, who also said that you can be racist in the womb. Yeah. Ibram X. Kendi, who said to be anti-racist was to be anti-capitalist. And finally, read Paulo Freire's Marxist Guide to Indoctrinate Youth, titled Pedagogy of the Oppressed. You know who was a huge admirer of that book? Mao Zedong. He loved it. Paulo Freire's Pedagogy of the Oppressed is the most cited and quoted book in colleges of education. It's like required reading for most educators and administrators. And it's important to note that Freire was an admirer of Mao during the Cultural Revolution. That's pretty disturbing. As it turns out, what happens in the colleges of education does not stay there. It gets passed down into the classrooms. On President's Day, when your daughter says to you, "Mommy, why is George Washington such a bad man?" you have to wonder, where did she learn that? That was me. That was my daughter. And that was the day I knew something was wrong. In lieu of taking U.S. history, here's what some ninth graders can do instead. They can take an ethnic studies class called Land, People, and Power. I'm reading directly. This course focuses on student identity, examining the past through the lens of power and privilege. We're going to study systems of oppression, social movements. Your children will see themselves as agents of social change in their community. Are you thinking, oh, that happens in California, New York, New Jersey? No, that was in a rural Wisconsin community. What happens in LA, what happens in New York, doesn't stay there. It doesn't stay there. It's everywhere. This is the reality of public education today. It's ideology over instruction. It's politics over purpose. That's why parents like me are speaking out. This image behind me, that's from a story that I contributed to in 2021. 2021. Hard to believe that 4 years later, and it's still having an impact. Indoctrinating our kids, well, for the left, that's the long game. It's a marathon, not a sprint. We've got to keep fighting. Got to keep fighting to get this radical ideology out of K through 12 education. Let's educate our kids, not indoctrinate them. Thanks.